Hey everyone, what's up? Today, this one, gonna be an interesting one. This one, I'm curious how this was gonna go. Gonna be talking about my polygamous mother. That sounds so weird to say. She's just mom, okay? She's my mom. You only get one of those in this world. Sometimes I joke and say that I have 3 moms because my dad has 3 wives, but I only crawled out of one of them. And so that makes it extra special. There's gonna be some stuff in this that might get me in trouble.
When new friends only know a ham story. Be smacking the Yo, shit on me. My mama said that it was okay.
They didn't have 5 wives, you still marry them. Like, then just do it scared. How to get married? Right then and there, I die and go to hell. You would not believe the amount of times my mama said, "Leave me out of it." I love you, Mom. I hate always having to balance this on eggshell thing, figuring out what I can and can't say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna do me, okay? I'm gonna let people know about my mom and share a little bit of that information and make this cool video and just use this as like an encouragement for you to maybe come on my channel. You can share anything you want to add to it. I don't know you perfectly. You know yourself the best. So if you want to share and come on here, please come on and just don't get mad at me, okay? I mean, I'm not going to share everything because I know you have your personal life. You always say, how would you like it if I went on the internet and just shared all your baby photos? I mean, it would be nice. I'd have more photos I can share now. I don't know. No, I get it. You want a more personal life, and everyone makes the decision. I chose to be a very open person and kind of just share everything. Not everyone chooses that, and that's your choice. But I think I can at least share these points that affect me and my life and my relationship with my mother. You just wait, Dad, because yours is coming next. Ladies first, though, okay? I really want to take this video opportunity to kind of like share a little bit of what it was like for my mother, but like let you guys put yourself in her shoes to see from her perspective a lot, because one of the questions I get the most about my mom is, why did she leave the order and then go back? Why would someone do that? Like, they basically had their free ticket out, they did all that work of getting out, and then they went back. And to explain this answer, I feel like you need to understand more. There's so much more to it. A lot of people just say, oh, she's brainwashed, she's manipulated, and to some degree that might be true, but there's a lot more information to consider, to take in. So that's what this is, basically, and more. Okay, let's try to tackle this. Let's go. It's probably not going to be super long, but I hope it's very informative, and I hope you guys can better understand the situation, because first thing you got to consider is my mom was not a member of the Kingston Davis County Co-op polygamous cult. So my grandpa, my favorite grandpa, was her dad. She got the privilege of having my favorite grandpa as her dad. Anyways, she was like the baby of her family. She was the youngest one in her family, right? And she had, I think it was 6 siblings, and she even had some half siblings, but not from a polygamous situation. It was from a whole divorce and other things like that, okay? That's not important to the story. So anyways, she was the baby of the family. And so a lot of the times when I hear her family experiences and things like that, they're very different from when I've talked with my uncle or with her brothers and sisters. Because when you're the youngest, you kind of get special privileges. You get babied a little bit and things like that. And so my mom tells all sorts of stories of how awesome it was living with her dad. She felt a little bit like she was an only child. I guess there must have been a pretty big gap between her and the next sibling, because she lived in the home alone for a while. It was just her and her dad. They were somewhat religious. They weren't necessarily in a polygamous group or anything like that, but they were religious, and they had a lot of associations with polygamous groups. For example, her grandpa, my great grandpa, which just so happened to be named Eskel as well, he's the one that I got my name from, he was a polygamist. He was a part of the, I believe he was like LDS, and then he ended up joining the Davis County Co-op, doing the break-off and things like that. And he had 3 wives, and there's a whole story I can do on him, because one of his wives ended up leaving him, and like all these different things happened, and different struggles. And he kind of like even left the Davis County Co-op and came back, and it was like he was a part of like where it was like beginning, like where the whole break off whatever happened, and he was a part of that. Anyway, there's a whole nother story on that, but that was how my mom's association with polygamous groups were, just through her grandpa, not through her dad. And so they knew about the polygamous groups. They had lots of cousins that were in it, and so they actually went to dances at the order dances that they would do and get together and stuff like that, which is very interesting because nowadays, like, outsiders are basically forbidden. They're not allowed. It's very rare and few every once in a while, you know, when they're trying to get this new girl to join or something. There are sometimes outsiders come, and like I said, they have new people join the group probably like once a year. There's like, I think, what's the average? One family per year, I think, that joins the Kingston group, which is odd because I'm pretty sure more people leave than that. I mean, I'm almost positive, but anyways, that's besides the point. She went to these dances, and I think what it was back then, the group was a lot different like that. They were more welcoming. They weren't as like secretive and like crazy looking, I guess, or something. And she just saw the same difference as just from one religion to the next. It didn't seem extreme to her for someone to live polygamy because she saw her grandpa live it. And I guess it didn't seem like that big of a deal to her. So from her perspective, it was somewhat more normalized, which is a little bit odd to me because she went to a public school, and so she kind of knew and was warned a lot about it, like her cousins told her and stuff and whatnot. And then I think a big part of it came down to her sister. Her sister was older than her and was like the mom for her because she took care of her in a lot of ways. And oh man, I gotta backtrack. So my mom, a lot of the times she kind of describes her childhood as in not having a mother, because her mom, like her parents, went through a divorce and different things have happened. And so her dad was in her life way more than her mom. So she also feels like she was raised by a single parent, just like me. I feel that same way, Mama. I could relate a little bit, just the opposite way. I was raised by you without a daddy, and you were raised by your dad without a mommy. And then anyway, so she got married at 17, which is pretty young, but like very close to being legal and 18 and all that stuff. She probably should have waited till she was an adult, but anyways, she did at least wait till she was an adult, till she had a baby, so that's something. She got married at 17, had her first baby at 18. When she was getting married, her oldest sister strongly encouraged it, because her oldest sister was married to my dad and was like brought in to the order, the Kingston Polygamous Group, and was like learning how to be a good polygamous follower, how to get her and her husband to heaven, and I guess found an easy answer, I suppose, because they were living in the basement underneath my mom and her dad. I guess they just saw like a single available lady, or little girl actually. But anyways, yeah, her sister strongly encourages her to marry her husband, and she thinks it's weird, but I mean, technically, I like, from that perspective, first of all, I don't know how anyone can absorb this and take it in and cope with it all, but at least I'm sure seeing the one that is married to the guy and like living happily, you know, like they're doing their own thing, living their happy little life, and then she wants a second wife for her husband. I mean, that's an interesting perspective. That's a little bit strange. I know there's girls that say that. I mean, I personally think that they didn't really want it, but they wanted that ticket to heaven, so they were trying to find the easiest one to cope with, I guess. Like, I'd rather this be my sister wife than someone else, you know. I could handle that maybe, and that'll get me into heaven. I don't know exactly, but her sister encouraged her to marry my dad, so she ends up getting married to him as a second wife. This part was actually really sad because she was it was a polygamous marriage, and so she had it in her backyard. There was only like 15 people that came to it. It was very small, very secluded, and she says to this day that her dad was, well, maybe I do need to clarify this, because she said a few times that her dad was supportive of it and like helped pay for like the decorations and stuff, but she did say that her dad like questioned her a lot and asked her like, are you sure? Are you ready for this? And this is why I kind of give my mom crap a little bit, because true, she was young and so that sucks, but she had her dad there. She was being taken care of. I mean, I don't personally see why she felt the rush to get married. Because that's the weirdest part. She could have easily waited a year or two and then made the decision. And like when she tells her story, she's always like, oh, I just felt so much pressure and felt so rushed, had to be done then. They made it sound like I had to get married right then and there, or I'd die and go to hell right away. And like, I guess there was a lot of pressure and stuff, but I don't understand why. I mean, even if it was a regular romance relationship, then there would be more pressure, I feel like, than in this situation. Because yeah, in regular relationships, if you don't shoot your shot or don't end up with the person, they might marry someone else, and then you got no chance. You know, it's over. They're taken. But in a polygamous relationship, no, you can still marry them. You can marry them when they're freaking 45, however old. It doesn't matter. They can have 5 wives. You can still marry them. Like your door to marry them never closes. So I don't understand what the rush was. That's what I'm confused about. But anyways, that's what it was. That's apparently what happened. And yeah, she started popping us out, and that's when I came into this beautiful world. Anyways, what else about my mom? Hey guys, so I got a little bit worried, and so long story short, I'm voicing over a lot of the parts that I think would make her more upset. Hopefully she will still be my friend after this video. But I don't want her to hate me. Anyways, I thought about maybe playing the song Mamma Mia during this part, or playing a Dolly Parton song, because my mom really likes Dolly Parton. I think that's her favorite famous person. Instead of playing any of those songs because of copyright issues, I decided I would just share other information about my mom that is probably she would approve of a little bit more, maybe. I don't know. I don't know why I still let my mom control me like this, but it is what it is, and I want there to still be a relationship there. What else? My mom is the first one. I remember the first time I ever heard my mom say a swear word. It scared me, because you knew that when my mom said a swear word, oh boy, we were in trouble. Like, it didn't matter if you weren't the one she was mad at. Like, if you were in the same room as her when she said a swear word, you should probably get out of there, or just start doing the dishes or cleaning something. Because yeah, when she was upset, it could get a little bit scary. Actually, a lot of our trips was just with mom, and I thought those were really fun. I really liked the trips we got to go on. She was really good at like packing yummy food and making sure we always had stuff. Like, oh my goodness, you guys, the comparison video is gonna be crazy. But I'm a little bit scared of doing the video about my dad. What was I saying? Oh yeah, my mom was really good at planning stuff, you guys. She did awesome. I thought it was really cool when we went on trips with her. Like, we didn't have to worry about anything. My belly was always full. We had such good food. It was always a blast and well prepared and super fun. Now, on the other hand, there was a few times where I went on trips with my dad, and I mean, trips is a stretch. It technically might have been considered a trip, but it was really just camping or fishing or something dirt cheap. Anyways, and we would go to these things, and when I say dirt cheap, I mean dirt cheap. Like, he would bring like a bag of beef jerky and some Gatorade for all 17 of us boys with him. And it's like, are you kidding me? Oh my goodness, we were so hungry. Almost every time we went on a camping trip with him, it was like you were basically fasting for those 3 days. Okay, one interesting thing about my mom is that she did spank me growing up as my discipline and stuff, as like when I would get in trouble, but she never like beat me. But I did see her beat my sisters, and my theory on this is that she might be a little bit afraid of guys. Like, she doesn't beat any of the boys in the family, but she did give, like, she was pretty hard on the girls, and like, I don't want to say like abusive, but like what she did to them could definitely count as abuse. And for some reason, she just was like fearless when it came to the girls, getting them in trouble and like disciplining them. But when it came to the boys, it was like almost like she was scared for some reason. I don't know why. I was still a tiny little kid, but I was a guy, I guess, so I think that might have scared her. I don't know. Maybe she was afraid that I would grow big muscles one day and get revenge. I don't know why my dad wasn't scared of that though. But yeah, so many times when I was in trouble, either my mom would spank me or she'd be like, oh, I'm telling your dad, whatever. And my dad had the honor and privilege of beating me. Anyways, I also wonder like how much my mom knew, because I feel like from what I understand, she was kind of like thrown into it. She wasn't raised in a polygamous cult, so she was just kind of like figuring it out, didn't know exactly what all came with the package deal and stuff like that. But her grandpa was involved with it, so she at least knew a little bit. She wasn't completely blind, but I'm sure it still came as a shocker. And I think they did what they do with a lot of people. They get her, you know, in a lifestyle that's very hard to leave super quickly, so it makes it a lot harder. Also, another interesting thing is she was the youngest in the family, so her older sister that convinced her to marry her husband knew her really well and knew that she was younger, that she was a little bit naive and a little bit spoiled. I'm surprised that she wanted her, you know, like from her the older sister's perspective. I think like, oh, my younger sister, the spoiled little brat a little bit, you know, like, oh, you want her in your family? I mean, she's already in your family, so you have to deal with her no matter what. Maybe that's what she was thinking. Like, she already has to deal with her, so might as well put up with her in 2 ways, I guess. I don't know. Anyways. Okay, and now this next part is for my mama. Because, Mom, I love you. I really do. The things I respect about her the very most is the fact that she basically found herself in this situation. And sure, she kind of had the choice, but whether she had the choice or not, whether she was rushed into it, felt stuck, whatever, she found herself in a very crappy situation with a lot of kids and without a husband to help and just in a really rough situation, right? And she figured out how to make the most of it. She still helped us to look decent. She took care of us to the best of her ability. She taught us how to like actually value and like figure out what priorities we want in our lives. She taught us really good morals. She helped us to have like desire that good work ethic and to, you know, make the most of any crappy situation that we were in. So I do credit a lot of my optimism and my ability to just go from a crappy situation and find the positive and take the most out of it. I do credit a lot of that to her. Even though she was definitely bipolar, she had some days where she was just upset or like really depressed or just like off the wall crazy. But she had a lot of days where she helped us to see and value the importance of like relationships and prioritize what truly mattered in our lives. And she did a great job of that. And I really appreciate that about her. So thanks for that, Mom. Also, she fought for us. She really, when my dad didn't really care about like his kids' living situation, he was a baller on a budget, just wanted to save, didn't care about nice clean clothes or like really any of the essentials of living. He just wanted to live cheap and basically kind of repeat his life for us because he thought, oh, I went through it, it was fine. And I think his like perspective was, oh, they're just kids, they won't remember anyways, just get them the cheapest stuff, just get them by till they're older and then we can worry more about it or whatever. But my mom really cared about us, and my mom fought for us to be better taken care of at least and have decently nice clothes and to make sure we weren't going to school with just looking a mess and like smelling really bad and stuff like that. And so that is one thing I'm extremely grateful for, and I'm glad she taught me really good hygiene and stuff like that, so that was awesome. She definitely was kind of like a super mom, doing it all on her own. It's not easy being a single parent. I've seen her go through a lot, and it's tough, and so I'm glad she didn't give up and give in and just half-ass anything. She at least tried hard and really made the most of it, so I appreciate that. I know it wasn't easy for her, so yeah, thanks, Mom. Okay, bye. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace. Oh, and Dad.
We only ever really busy friends. Nothing to tell when the summer ends. We never really went buying clothes. Folks were passing on the stuff in plenty loads. New shoes once a year and then out to play ball so we could ruin them. Mama said that it was okay. Mama said that it was quite alright. Our kind of people had a bed for the night, and it was okay.
You thought it was over? Well, it's not. I don't have anything else to say, but it's, well, now it's over. Okay. Okay, bye.